Okay, greetings and welcome to our Sunday evening live stream. Thanks for joining us for my hourly, maybe 2-hourly look at mainstream media. It is the only time of the week that I allow myself to actually take a serious look at this. And when I say serious, and by serious look, I don't actually mean I take the mainstream media serious. I just mean I actually dedicate a bit of time to focusing on what they're saying. The only other time I might tune into or hear any of this stuff, obviously if you're on Twitter, Twitter will repeatedly send news stories your way, whether you whether you ask for it or not. I'm sure Facebook, you can't go on Facebook without having one of your Facebook friends or adverts or just promoted posts being forced down your throat covering these sorts of stories. The latest one, which kind of disturbed me in a way because it was, well, we've got an image up on it now. Start wearing face masks again to avoid another lockdown, experts warn. And my question on tonight's stream is called, do you still believe? I mean, are we still believe in this rubbish? Yeah, we're going to look close at that later on. And it just, yeah, I'd like to say hello to KG. Thanks for saying hi in the live chat. Anyone else who's tuned in and wants to say hi, it's always good to know who's tuned in. As I suggested in my Twitter post to promote this live stream, I did say it's going to be a BS19 special in a way, unless anyone else has a subject they think worthy of looking at. I'm always up for suggestions of what to cover in this stream. Generally, the first half is kind of looking at any suggestions. The second half of the stream is looking at a particular subject. I might do that back to front tonight. We'll see. Because yeah, I have, as I said, I've seen some stories. Before we go ahead with that, yeah, I would like to, bear with me 1 second, we can lose. Right, I'm having a slight issue with my OBS, apologies, and my computer in general is running slow, but we should be alright. We'll get there in a minute. Yeah, I would like to thank my Patreon supporter, Linda Mack. If anyone wants to see what goes on over on Patreon, you do have to make a monthly pledge of your choice, but in exchange for that, yeah, you can just follow some, I call it behind the scenes. Yeah, just check out the link in the description or scan the QR code. Another way you can support me is by just simply hitting the thumbs up button on this video. Subscribing to the channel if you're not already, and if you want to share it on social media, yeah, that's always, yeah, that would be hugely appreciated. I will, yeah, also hi to Philip Wright, good to see you in the chat. KG, you don't believe it and will not comply. David, good to see you in the chat, thanks for joining us, good evening to you also. Let's see. Right, I'm tempted to fix my issue I've got with OBS. It might cause like a 2-minute delay. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise it might just take a few, might just have the odd delay coming through the live stream, but hey, what's new? Let me bring out, oh, wrong one. Yeah, that's what's going to happen unless I fix my issue, but I think we'll manage. Yeah, we're going to have a look at a couple of stories. The first one will be this particular thing. Now, just bear in mind, last time the order of events back in 2020 was lockdown and then masks, and the story was, if you guys want to come out of lockdown, then you're going to have to start wearing face masks. I'm just going to check my audio's running all right, 1 second. Yep, seems to be playing all right. My end, I hope the stream is running smoothly enough for you guys. In fact, I wonder if those lines in the background might be a bit distracting and slowing things down a bit, we'll see. Okay. Yeah, so the order of things originally was, we're going to put you in lockdown just for 2 weeks. It's not going to be much. We're all in this together, I think Boris Johnson said in his famous speech, or someone said that. We've all got to put up with it, and of course, the official narrative was that Boris and his team, they didn't go along with it, and anyone who actually put their faith in them would probably have felt a bit stupid, a bit annoyed, like at the end of it when we hear that apparently Boris wasn't ever following any of the rules that he was imposing. Personally, I don't believe any of that. I think it's all a load of nonsense. Not to say that Boris Johnson didn't break the rules, but the story we hear, what they present to us, is all part of their script. They're very good, they're very clever at knowing how to irritate people, depress people, have them running to their doctors, telling them, oh, I'm depressed, I'm afraid that if I go out of my house, I'm either going to A, be blown up by a terrorist, or B, I'm going to be attacked by some mutant virus. The latest strain's going to get to me. They want us living in fear one way or another, or, well, if I don't take this injection, then I won't ever be able to go on holiday again. I will ask anyone out there if you did take the jab, which is absolutely up to you. I know they give you one of these cards. Have you ever had to show that card to anyone in your life? Because I'm guessing it's probably stayed in your purse or wallet. I saw one the other day, my wife's one, and it had this message on the front: keep this card in your purse or wallet. Like, oh, you're probably going to need this card at some point in your life. I bet no one ever needed those cards. David is saying extreme heat could cause death. To be honest, David, there's nothing new there. Of course, we're going to be hearing that extreme temperatures are coming. Well, that's what summer is. Summer and winter, they're the extreme parts of the year for temperature. So, yeah, you're going to get hot days, you're going to get cold days in winter. Nothing new there. It's interesting how, just like the mainstream can convince us that just getting a normal cold or flu or just having any breathing problems is enough to convince everyone that there's a killer virus going around. Mudlark digging up the Thames, good to see you in the live chat. If you are just joining us tonight, I'm sorry to say this will be a Bullspit 19 special. I hate talking about the subject. It's something I think, until we all shut up about it, it'll never go away. But there is also, you have to weigh that up against making sure people are well aware that everything they are giving us about this, and I think a lot of people are aware of it. They wouldn't dare go against it, but they are aware that it's a load of nonsense, what we're being told. Going back to the order of events last time when we were supposedly in lockdown, we were told that put your face mask on and we're going to be able to lift the lockdown. Well, that never happened, okay? So why on earth would we ever believe experts warning us that unless you put your face mask on, they're going to put you in lockdown again? Because it won't make one blind bit of difference. And it will, if they want to put us in lockdown, they will. And if it's not for catching a flu or cold, it'll be because, as David says, extreme heat could cause death, which of course it is. It's never been in question, has it? I wouldn't be surprised if they started giving advice, and that, bear in mind, that's all Bullspit 19 legislation was advice. It was never the law. It was never in force. But it was treated like it was. So if they start coming out with that very same advice, telling people, look, you better stay in your house or you're going to be killed by the extreme heat. I don't know if any of you have noticed, if you've been following the weather reports. I check an app on my phone just to see whether, the rain, how warm it's going to be over the next few days. And they continuously keep saying, it's going to be like 35. You get to that day, 27? I thought you said it'd be 35 today. Oh, no, that's later on in the week. No, you definitely said today was going to be 35. Mudduck says, you're sorry my wife took the injection. Yeah, me too. I was sorry that she made that choice as well. But it was her choice to make. She was heavily influenced by listening to the mainstream bullcrap. More, I don't think it was so much that she was worried about getting ill. I think she was worried about her family not wanting to see her, or people not letting her in shops or places because she hadn't had it. Fell for the same rubbish that a lot of people did. You'll lose your job unless you take the injection. Well, apparently they removed all that advice because that's all it was. Experts warn that unless you take your jab, you might lose your job. Well, okay, you can warn that all you like, but until it's actually a real thing, well, yeah, even when it's a real thing, even if they ever make that the case, yeah, don't let that convince you. Don't put your faith in government. Don't put your faith in the medical professional. They're all motivated by greed. They're motivated by control, and they're certainly not motivated by you being healthy. The pharmaceutical industry, the medical professionals, don't make a bean out of you being healthy and not needing them. They want you very reliant, which is why it's absolutely no surprise to see stories such as what we're about to have a look at now. First, I'll say hello to Crazy Hippo Lady and JT33. Thanks for saying hi in the live chat. Great to know you're tuning in. Right, where's my display capture? I will just have to line it up a minute. Sorry, bear with me. We're getting there. Where was that news story? Yeah, interestingly enough, actually, that very same news story was repeated in multiple outlets, as in multiple news outlets. So the people that write local papers and they're not literally writing it themselves. They're in most cases just buying stories so they can publish them, meaning they've not done any research into it. Right. Yeah, I hope playback's working all right for all you guys. I know the audio's okay, but yeah, I hope. Let me see my. Right. Okay. Yeah, my YouTube's a bit delayed, so I was just checking that everything was still working all right. Yeah, I will have to line things up a minute as well. Please bear with me. We should now be looking at my screen. My goodness, my computer's on a proper go slow tonight. You'll have to accept my apologies. Right, this is supposed to be a newspaper article that we're looking at, as is this one. This is the story that where the title image came from. Right, all I've got here is an advert for the First Lady. How do I get rid of that advert? So it's the last thing I need when my computer's on an absolute go slow. We'll get there in a minute, I'm sure. Right, I'll have a quick look at the live chat while I'm waiting for my webpage to load. Mudlark says, I still see a few people wearing masks even in this warm weather. Yeah, the weather won't stop them. Nothing will deter people. And the really sad thing about it is that all the people that are wearing them are probably people with health conditions that absolutely should not be wearing them. But they believe because they've got breathing problems or because their lungs are, because some doctors told them that their lungs are a bit messed up or whatever, which is all the more reason not to put a face mask on. They believe that's extra reason for them to wear one. I don't think I would waste my time trying to tell anyone not to wear it. I remember once on a train telling a woman who had fallen asleep with a mask on, I remember telling her, you'll suffocate. She was sort of opened her eyes as the train was coming to a stop, and I tried telling her, look, you're in danger of suffocating falling asleep with that thing on. But she looked thoroughly deprived of oxygen. She looked absolutely out of it. And that's just what wearing a mask does to you. Have fun wearing that. Yeah, Mudluck. I'm seeing the odd person here and there. As I say, it's some elderly people. Um, I would say it's across the board. Actually, there's no what's the word, um, set of people that are actually wearing it. Demographic. That's the word I think I was looking for. David says, I've been told to stay indoors for the next 2 days, so I'll be in the pub. Who's told you that, David? Oh, because of the weather, I'm guessing. Yeah, the pub's one place to go, but make sure you're drinking soft drinks, or as many alcoholic drinks you're drinking. Make sure you're drinking soft drinks as well, because it is summer out there. Will dehydrate you. Alcohol will dehydrate you, and there's nothing for making you feel like absolute crap than alcohol and sunlight. Yeah, I don't want to start sounding like the bullcrap media, but yeah, if you're going to spend all day in a pub, then make sure you're not just on the alcohol. Sorry if that sounds a bit boring, but it's my advice. Absolutely 100% not medical advice, so just my opinion. I don't know, perhaps drinking alcohol all day makes you feel great, if that's what you're doing. Um, yeah, pubs, of course, being one of the places where weren't we supposed to believe that a virus would only attack you if you were stood up or something, or if you queued up at the bar? But if you just sat down eating your meal, you were perfectly safe. I'm sure they brought some crazy rules in. I didn't listen to any of them, so I'm just going by what I saw other YouTubers and other content producers share. But yeah, David, have fun in the pub. Um, but yeah, drink, try and, or even just ask for tap waters while you're at the bar. Uh, right, apparently, an expert immunologist has warned that people in the UK must start wearing their face masks. Do you think this expert immunologist has anything to do with government, or will at any point be hired by government, or has a vested interest in the wearing of masks? For example, he is part owner, or he's got shares, or he's receiving a kickback from manufacturers. Get people buying our masks again. Where was it? I'm sure I saw something. It was probably in one of the. Actually, it was a video I came across on one of these web pages about a baby dying in cars, and this was in the United States. And they were claiming, not cars, sorry, the baby died from bullspit 19, that was it. And they managed to squeeze in at the beginning of the news report that make sure, oh yeah, only people wearing N95 masks will be allowed into the hospital. Yeah, I remember being told over here in this country that you will not go into a hospital unless you've got a mask on. I went in to visit someone, as I've probably told this story hundreds of times. Told the nurse I am exempt from wearing a face mask. I'm just going to go in there. And yeah, being allowed in, they didn't stop me going in. They did ask me, actually, one of the nurses who I told me I didn't have to worry about putting the apron on or gloves, but I wanted to show willing. It was just a face mask I wasn't going to put on. It was like, all right, if you want me wearing gloves and an apron to visit this person, I'll do it, but not doing a face mask. But yeah, one of them told me I didn't even need to do that. Right. Yeah, apparently infections doubled by almost 800,000. What does that really mean? Do you think 800,000 tests have been done, all of which gave a positive result? Or do you think it's just a sweeping generalisation that everyone in hospital, a high percentage will have bullspit 19, so we'll work the numbers out by that? Who cares about a test? With some parts of the country nearing record levels of cases, well, that means they're taking record numbers of tests then, doesn't it? Surely. The Director General of the World Health Organization, isn't that Klaus Schwab? Is that the same person? Recently urged Brits to reintroduce restrictions. Get that word right. Not restrictions, advice, government advice. Government advice that we should be restricted, but that was a choice, that was a personal choice, and I chose to be exempt from every one of them. restrictions to combat the rise in numbers. And now, Professor Dennis Kinane, or is it Denise Kinane, we'll see, a world-leading immunologist and founding scientist of Signpost.Diagnostics. I wonder what they make. What do you think Signpost.Diagnostics make? Has joined such calls. Professor Kinane told the Mirror that people should consider wearing masks again if they want to avoid further restrictions being brought back. Right, we'll look at Signposts. I'm curious. They've got me interested. We'll see what they're wearing, what they make in a minute, once my computer catches up. Apparently, wow, my computer's absolutely ground to a halt. Yeah, apparently no one wants to return a full lockdown, so taking reasonable precautions and being socially responsible is vital. Yeah, wearing a face mask will probably encourage them to put you in lockdown, actually, because they'll say, wow, brilliant, look how many people are wearing face masks. What else can we get them to do? Go in lockdown. Yeah, of course they will go along with that also. And yeah, it makes no odds. Just like we were told, well, if you start wearing a mask, we'll lift the lockdown, which they told us last time. They never lifted the lockdown when people started wearing masks at all. It went on for another 6 months probably. I do think a lot of people want it back. It is a great excuse for some not to visit family, not to interact, to hide away, to live in fear. And as horrible as living in fear is, for some it's a lot easier than actually thinking for yourself, providing for yourself, and yeah, it's a much easier situation. And the people that hate it the most, though, the people that really say, "Oh, I wish that I wish these lockdowns would go. I can't wait till it's all over." They do not realise they're the ones who are probably, yeah, they're responsible for lifting it. They're the ones that have to say, "No, not me. Not going along with this anymore." And that is when they will truly be lifted. But for as long as people worship and put their faith in their ridiculous government, then you're stuffed. You have no choice. I just having a look at the live chat. Right. Modlight says it's amazing how they managed to psychologically enslave almost the whole human race. You're absolutely right. Everyone went along with it. Mudlight says they just invent these statistics. Yeah, I'm still wanting to look up this other people, this Signpost, if my computer can handle another web page being opened. It probably will, but Phil Wright says, you saw some clown wearing a mask in a car today, brain dead in this heat. Mudlark asks, was even driving alone? Yeah, I've seen people driving alone. But I think they're probably the sort of people who believe that being in their car is protection. They're in a safe bubble, and they think, just to make it that little bit safer, let me put my mask on as well. Wow, imagine believing that putting on a crappy paper mask will make one jot of difference to your life, because it won't. All you're doing is, you're playing along. Ultimately, it will probably make your life even worse. Right, we should be looking up Signpost here at some point. Signpost.Diagnostics, that was the people that are calling on people to start wearing their masks again, start putting your faith in tests, although I bet that never went away. I have seen now they actually sell rapid response tests. Who would buy one of them, honestly? Although, having said that, I also saw a vending machine selling face masks, and I thought, who would buy one of them, honestly? And now I've seen people queuing up at that thing, buying their face mask. Really sad, unfortunately. Goodness me, this has taken its time. Apparently it was the passenger wearing one. Yeah, Mudlight says it's hilarious seeing people driving alone in their cars and wearing a mask. It's got to be dangerous, though, surely. There must be. If you've seen people deprived of oxygen, you'll see they're well out of it. They're as good as being drunk after spending 2 days in a pub, for example. Right. Founders, bespoke solutions about us. Yeah, surely diagnostics is travelling. Now that's logistics, isn't it? Diagnostics is diagnosing. We specialise in diagnosing people with illnesses. The European tour, according to this fan. I imagine having a European tour where, we're going to go around diagnosing people with the very illness that will cure them. So first of all, we tell you you're ill, and then we tell you that we've got some drugs for you. What a joke. Right, this webpage is finally loading up. I hope it's worth it. What I'm hoping we'll find is that they make COVID-19 tests. Oh yeah, talk to us about your workplace COVID strategy. Why would we talk to you? What a surprise. They're involved in offering safe environments across industries. Creating a safe space in the workplace. And it's all linked to Bullspit 19. Look at these ridiculous... do you remember all them coming up? I mean, I did notice actually that the arrows had started going away now. People are no longer being told where to walk on the pavement. That world tour doesn't look very... European tour doesn't look very popular, does it? How many people have we got attending this then? Is this the best picture they could get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and look how much space they're all giving each other. Well, I'll wait at the entrance. I'll wait 2 rows down, this guy over here on his phone. My goodness. I suppose they got enough space, why not spread out? I'm still looking to see... we take swab samples at your location, courier them to our regional laboratory and provide results back to you. So 100% their job is to provide tests. Providing rapid on-site testing. Of course it is. What else was their job ever going to be? And for some reason they're now saying that we should also wear face masks. We should keep believing in it. Right, so I'm sure the same article, like an identical article, appeared in 2 publications. You've got Chronicle Live. An expert immunologist has warned that people in the UK must start wearing face masks. And the Leicester Mercury. How did their headline start? Unfortunately, this is going to be... still looking at this stupid advert. The web page is on here somewhere, it's just got to load. I know, I'll put reading mode on. Let's see. Yeah, I'm guessing that these 2 articles are identical. I did check them, but come on. How can this take so long? We've got a couple of other stories we're going to look at, which absolutely tie in with that. Bear in mind, this story that we're looking at was, I think, Thursday. So, what do you think the story was that they gave us the following day? Oh, come on. My computer's absolutely gone to crud. I'm going to shut that. Trust me, Leicester Mercury and the Chronicle both went with this exact same story. But it's literally it's crippling my computer just trying to load the page up, unfortunately. Just have a look at the live chat. KJ, I saw a guy on a motorcycle, no helmet but mask, pure blood. Wow. Mudlight says those blue surgical looking masks have fibres which people inhale into their lungs. Not only the masks, actually. Also the tests. They also seem to have they also seem to have these fibres. Yeah, okay, so we had to start wearing face masks, and then a day later they gave us this story. Apparently commuters and shoppers are now wearing masks. You've got to see this picture though, see if anything doesn't quite look right about it. Again, we're waiting for a web page to load up. Absolutely ridiculous. It will be worth it though, trust me. I'll take this opportunity to catch up with the live chat. Mudlark says, I've seen some guy cycling past my house on most days whilst wearing a mask, but maybe he's trying to keep flies out of his mouth. Yeah, that's true. One thing, cyclists, yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to cover your mouth up, although I never did it when I rode a bike. And of course you get the odd fly in your mouth and it's a bit disgusting, but I think I'd rather have unrestricted breathing, to be honest with you. There's not many cases in which I would willingly put a mask on in any situation. As a kid, I remember the joke shop, they had these horror masks, and I begged my mum for one. They were like rubber masks that you could put over your face, Freddy Krueger and such things, and I begged her for one. And when I bought one, I found I could barely wear it for more than a couple of minutes without suffocating. You're breathing all your breath onto this sort of rubber inside, and it gets all wet. Yeah, not very pleasant. So I would say dressing up, no, I wouldn't wear a mask for dress up. Say I certainly wouldn't celebrate Halloween again. So that isn't an opportunity. If I was in a smoke-filled environment and someone gave me like an oxygen mask, yeah, okay, I would put that one on. Although I wouldn't really, yeah, that's a last resort. If you find yourself underwater and someone gives you a snorkeling mask, okay, maybe I'd put that one on. Not exactly the same as just... And they're probably, or I don't know, is asbestos? Do I believe that? Well, I vaguely know what asbestos is, and I know it. If it's intact, it's fine, but once they start breaking it up, that's when the harmful, not vapours, but whatever they are, whatever it is about asbestos that's meant to be dangerous. Apparently it's only dangerous when you're taking it apart. So in that environment, maybe I'd put a mask on, or I just wouldn't do it. But to walk down the shops, anyway, they gave us this picture. Do you notice something about this? This was on July the 11th. Wow, this is quite a while ago, actually. You have... let's see, hang on. Let's see if it's a common theme with all these pictures. I wonder if we can open a gallery. Yeah, if you had someone stood in the middle of a shopping centre with a camera, do you think anyone would take the time to actually just look at the camera? Funnily enough, all these people seem to be doing everything but look at the camera. You've got this guy, his face, behind the mirror sign. He's obviously looking up. Right, do I dare take a close-up of this picture just to do a bit of inspection? Yeah, visitors wearing face masks out on Regent Street. Is this picture quite as legit as it might seem? I'm going to say no. They are advertising the National Gallery though, so fair play to them for that. Can we get... Right, I'm trying to get that picture blown up. We'll see how we get on. And there's more images on this page as well. Again, someone stood in a high street with a camera. Oh, actually they are looking in this occasion. Yeah, apparently, people have. I'm not sure if it's China. I believe so. Maybe Japan. They fell for this mask wearing thing a long time ago. They, it is. I do always remember seeing Chinese or Asian. I'm not sure quite their origin, but wearing face masks in this country and thinking, "Wow, what are they so worried about?" Phil Wright says the mask will save him should he crash into a car. Of course, no. If he crashed into a car, that would be preferable to catching a bug. No, yeah, and also statistically, you've got to look at statistics. You've got to look at the chances: A, you're going to fall off the bike, or B, you're going to catch a cold. So, yeah, say if you're driving down the street, for example, and you don't put a seatbelt on, because you're looking at the statistics. I'm massively protected because I've got a face mask on, so protected that I don't need to put a seatbelt on, because statistically, I've got rid of the biggest threat. I'm not worried about crash. None of these people seem to want to look at the camera, almost like they've been told, right, we're gonna take a snap of you. Oh, goodness sakes. Right, where are we? Yeah, this person in the middle. Is that an Adam's apple? I'm not too sure. Look at that eye line. Oh, hang on. Right, we'll get there in a minute. I'll be able to draw the eye line in 1 second, I think. Yeah, this person clearly not looking directly at the camera. Trying not to, in fact. And yeah, they're not the most feminine person I've ever seen in my life either. But that's kind of beside the point. Yeah, there is that person's eye line. This person looking anywhere but the camera, going off in this direction. And this person, from what we can see, I mean, you can kind of make out where his face would be. He's looking up. He's looking anywhere but the camera. Who would have thought it, hey? So yeah, that's clearly a staged photograph. They've clearly got these people out there and told them, walk up Regent Street or wherever they are, put your face mask on because we want to take pictures of you. Yeah, more people deliberately not looking at the camera. I mean, I suppose cameras are getting better these days. Maybe it isn't so unusual, or it isn't something that everyone looks at now. Here we go. Public transport now. You see people believing that they have to start wearing coverings on public transport again. Nope. I wonder if we'll see those signs again. Maximum fine of £6,000 for not wearing a face mask on this train. The amount of times I walked past that sign when I caught the trains regularly without a mask on, and yeah, it's a bit of a joke, really. Oh, there we go. Everyone's favourite piece of crap. Fully vaccinated people are still catching bullspit because multiple variants are in circulation at the same time. So are you saying it was a complete waste of time taking the vaccine? Is that what? Is that what we're? And what does fully mean anyway? Is that people that have had 2, 3, 4, 5 different shots? How can you catch? Oh my goodness! How can you catch COVID again? And how long should you wait to return to work? It's actually telling you how to catch it. That is what that I'm reading there. How can you catch COVID again? No thanks, not interested in your advice. Your bit of predictive programming there. Nearly 1 in 10 staff with nearly 1 in 10 staff with COVID symptoms pressured to work. That's suggesting that there's a huge number of people, basically anyone that feels like they got a cold. Does anyone know or care what the two strains are running rampant at the moment? Bullspit and bullshit, perhaps. And again, yeah, Professor Tim Spector, Zoe scientific co-founder and lead scientist on the health study, I wonder how much science actually went into any of this, or if it was all just calculations, numbers, making up statistics. I'll try and zoom in a bit on this one. Yeah, apparently even if people had had a past infection and are fully vaccinated, people are still catching it. Great. Might they be the only people catching it though? That would be my question. Let's see, Phil Wright said, I made a point of walking against the arrows on the floor at my work. I ripped the wash my hands sign off the wall in the toilets. I gotta say, yeah, I mean, it's common knowledge, isn't it? You go to the toilet, you wash your hands. Do you actually need a sign to remind you of that? Maybe some people do, but yeah, I remember what I did in my workplace. Someone had put a sign up about wearing a mask, and I wrote on the front of the the actual picture of the mask, I wrote the word hoax, and that stayed up on the wall for ages, for as long as I was there. Yeah, there's subtle ways you can share your thoughts. Oh, the new versions are Omicron BA.4 and BA.5. So do you think that the tests that people now take specify whether they've got 0.4 or 0.5? Or are they just saying everyone that's got it now has got either of these two? Because they look like the same tests that they were always using. How are they programming these to detect different strains? Because all this thing does, it reads a very small amount of, I don't know, saliva or whatever, and it will take an even smaller quantity of that, which gets squirted into it and calculates like tiny amounts of whatever it is it's testing for. It doesn't tell you whether or not you're ill, but the amount of people putting their faith in these ridiculous things is unbelievable. Mudlock says, people in the background of the photo are not wearing them. No, you're right. It's only, in all these pictures, it's only the front couple of people, whereas everyone else, and in most of the cases, they're Asian people anyway, so Asian people seem more willing to put on their masks. I wonder if that was to do with Hiroshima or something. I don't know. Didn't they have a power plant blow up and everyone was believing that the air was poison or some rubbish? Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple more stories to look at. Actually, just interesting with the news. You've got the Daily Mirror. And I just did a search. I put COVID, I think it was COVID, into the search bar of the Daily Mirror. And the amount of results that come up is absolutely ridiculous. What have we got here? Hang on. Oh, this is a different one. Okay, I wasn't going to look at this story just yet, but I will in a minute. Let's see. KG was stationed in Korea 20 years ago, and many wear it in winter. And what was the reason for that, KG? I'd be interested to know. And was that the locals wearing masks? Was that anything to do with like power plants blowing up, or am I way off? But thank you for sharing that, KG. I appreciate it. Mudlark has seen someone wearing a skirt in your local town centre today. Yeah, I see it all the time, actually. It is not uncommon. I would say at least a couple of times a week, maybe even more during like Pride Month, as they call it. During Pride comes before Destruction Month. Yeah, I would see it a good few times a week. People, men wearing men wearing like women's outfits, as it were, women's attire. Do you think these people do actually realise, though, there is a practical reason that women wear women's clothes and that men don't, and that men wear men's clothes? There are actually practical reasons for it, and it's to do with the anatomy, the human body being what it is. Shapes, curves, proportions. A man wearing a woman's jumper would be ridiculously uncomfortable around the shoulders, I would think. And women wearing men's jeans, for example, well, I have noticed that, yeah, of course, women, when they tighten their clothes, like button-ups or jeans or whatever, is a lot higher than men. So, yeah, again, that's ridiculous for a woman to wear a men's. Who knows? But this is people that wish to. There are some confused people out there, unfortunately, and if you don't understand why men wear men's clothes and women wear women's clothes, then I think you could consider yourself quite confused. Right, just trying to zoom in on this page. Right, according to the Daily Mirror, Boris Johnson. Actually, I want to mute myself before I look into this. If I could just, take 2 seconds. We're getting to the point in the live stream where I consider taking like a quick intermission. So we'll look at this story and then think about doing that. Right, Mudluck says the inventor of the PCR test died just before the scandemic begun. Is that the same guy that came out and said that they were never meant for diagnosing people? It was just meant to... Yeah, I believe I know the same guy. Phil Wright believes he was definitely killed off, maybe. Oh, and Mudluck says the PCR test was invented to be a DNA test. Wow, I never knew that. But it makes sense when you look at the swabs that they use. They clearly don't want saliva. They want pieces of what is it? I'm trying to think of the word of it now. The wording they use, but it's gone, unfortunately. It's some term for like flesh tissue. Oh, I can't think of it now. Membrane? Mucous membrane, I think. They actually want to scrape part of that. Disgusting stuff. Right, this story, how ridiculous is this? This page isn't lined up properly, so I don't dare reload it though, because we'll be here all week waiting for it. We'll try and load Reader View instead. Yeah, of course, if anyone has come across any stories that they think worthy of us checking out tonight, let us know in the live chat. As things are taking forever on this, I'm wondering about running the intermission now while I'm trying to get the web page to load up, because it's having issues, as it were. While things seem to be slowing down a bit, I am gonna maybe take a quick break and I'm gonna play. It's about, the video's not particularly long, it's only about 3 minutes long, and it will be the latest video I've uploaded to my other channel. Yeah, we will go back to that story in about 5 minutes. I do just need to take a quick break and refill my drink, etc. Yeah, Mudlark says the same person, his name is Kerry Mullins or something like that. Kerry Mullins, yeah, I've heard of the guy. Did he win some sort of Nobel Prize, or am I thinking of someone else? Is that not the same person? Well, things are really struggling to work on my end at the moment, so yeah, please accept my apologies. This video we're about to watch is going to be really stuttery, but the audio should at least sound okay, I hope. Where are we? It was basically a clip from last week's live stream where we spotted a second Deborah James, that's someone made loads of videos about lately. So yeah, I released a edited version of that called Two Deborahs. Yeah, I don't know if you ever watch any of those American sitcoms. Everybody Loves Raymond. There's a character called Deborah in that, and one of the scenes in it is the brother saying to Ray, "Oh, are you? Is there really two Deborahs?" Because he had told. No, I think that they were dropping a bit of a hint that yeah, there's two different people playing Deborah in this sitcom, but who knows? But yeah, I wanted to get that link, but I couldn't find it. So yeah, I hope you don't mind me taking. Let's see, how long are we talking? 3.5 minutes, just while you just while I take a quick few minute break, and then we'll come back with the second half of this live stream tonight. Yeah, thanks to everyone who's taken the time to tune in, particularly Mudlark, Phil Wright, KG, David, JT33, Crazy Hippo Lady, and anyone else. If I haven't mentioned you and you've said hi in the live chat, I do apologise, but thanks for thanks for saying hi. If there's anything you want us to look at in the second half of this live stream, please let me know. Otherwise, I will be looking at the last couple of stories. I may revisit this, see if there's any news on Deborah James's funeral yet. I've not heard anything on that front, so I'd be curious to see. Alright, I'll be back in about 3.5 minutes. Thanks for your patience. Okay, my apologies there. We didn't have any sound on that one, so sorry about that. I'm going to start again from the beginning. Yeah, this is my latest video. Right, I'll be back in literally a couple of minutes. Sorry for the dead air. That's something that happens fairly regularly on this stream, so my apologies, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Still no notice of a funeral. As it happened, dozens of minis took part in the funeral procession for fundraiser on the 17th of the 8th, 27. What? Did you see the date of that? Am I looking at... Is this an old story? Yeah, this is a different Deborah James. 17th of August 2017. The 37-year-old... What? Am I going mad here? Can you guys see this? This story was posted on the 17th of August 2017 according to BBC. So WTF are they talking about? This story was as well catered for. Because I said they were going to have a horse-drawn cart, they didn't do a horse-drawn cart. They did a queue of minis. Oh, that's not Deborah James, right. Sorry, my mistake. Is this another story just exactly the same that took place 5 years ago? She loved minis, had her own car, driven by her brother, led the convoy of 6 fields in Northampton to Towcester Road Cemetery. Weird. Absolutely weird. Good advert there for the Mini. I'm getting confused now. V22 Fun. This wasn't a dame, and they would not have done this story unless...
She wanted to be remembered for joy and positiveness, and she was all about bringing good and help to people. It was done through her work, through her blog. It was always about bringing good and helping people.
Where have I heard that before? Bowel cancer research. They've just done the story. This was the first effort. This was we'll do it on a small scale just for the people of Northampton. Depending on how successful it is, we'll push it through as a big story with the Prince William taking part in it. Mental. Absolutely crazy. Another obituary. I'm sure it will be filmed exclusive on the Sun newspaper because she used to write for them. This is getting too confusing. They still haven't mentioned anything about the funeral on here, have they? Do you think there's any posts on this Instagram page since before she was diagnosed, or is it all completely just about her being a cancer victim? Because this doesn't even look real, does it? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to pause that video there and say if anyone wants to watch the rest of it, there will be a link in the description. It is also on my other channel, which is Chronicles of the Unconvinced. Again, link in the description. Just check it out in there. Could put it in the live chat, I suppose, but yeah, you all know. I hope you all know where to find my other channel by this point. We will have a look at Deborah James tonight, just right at the very end. We're just going to see if they've mentioned the funeral, because as I say, I never look at mainstream media. I just don't follow it. So I miss stories like if they've announced the funeral. And actually, I'd like to thank Mudlight Digging Up the Thames for sharing the death, because I wouldn't probably have heard about it until much later had she not told me that Deborah had passed on. And what a crazy story that one was, by the way. Right, I will catch up with the live chat very quickly, but we will be getting on. Let's see if that web page is finally loaded up. I bet it hasn't. Oh yeah, it has, kind of. First of all, yeah, basically a follow-on now from Bullspit 19. Bear in mind, Boris is a puppet. He was doing everything he was told. He was told to, well, assuming there is an individual called Boris Johnson and it's not just some series of actors playing the role, there might as well have been for all of his own probably decisions that actually went into running the country. He was completely at the mercy of advisors, sponsors, and yeah, all these people that attach themselves to Parliament. Boris doesn't really make any decisions, I don't believe. He's just basically the figurehead. This is the person you've got leading you. The mockery that seems to be very real in politics. When you look at some of the people that they put in power, it's beyond a joke sometimes. You've got that moron, I think he was the health secretary for a bit or something, and he told two school kids that he's a cocaine, well, he said he was a coke addict. Clearly, that can only be a reference to one thing. That's not a slip up you would generally make. Deliberately taking the mick, basically, when he was actually, yeah, if you haven't seen that video, we did cover it in one of my live streams once, but yeah, just look for Rashid Sad, whatever his name is, Rashid or something. Yeah, talks coke addict. Just look for that, you'll find it. And Boris Johnson did exactly the same as every other governor or prime minister or president. He put everyone in lockdown, and he crippled the economy by spending every penny of public money on tests and masks and bailing out shops that have been shut. Didn't they? Of course, they got their numbers in, and I remember Boris saying we're putting £330 billion or some ridiculously high amount of money that we've got to pay out to companies that are going to lose money over this decision to shut down everything. It had to be 330, didn't it? Just to get their 33s in. But they're now saying that Boris is individually responsible for leaving Britain broke and paralysed as people face an economic crisis. That was always going to come. It's interesting how it tied in with the leaving of Brexit at a time when they wanted to divide Britain and say, no, we're now individuals, we're no longer part of the European Union or whatever. They shut down travel completely. So, and I'm not sure if people were required to leave the country. Yeah, I did know someone, he was a British guy and he went and lived in Japan. And at that time, there was some restriction on him. It was either that he wasn't allowed to leave, or that if he left the country, he wouldn't be allowed back in because he wasn't although he had taken some sort of, he was there legally, but yeah, as an alien resident, I guess you'd call it. I'm not sure if that's the right term. He wouldn't be allowed back in the country if he left it. It was interesting how our freedom to leave one country and go to another was taken away from us, and all that, amongst all that. And of course, in return for being allowed to leave the country again, what did people all line up to do? Anyone that wanted to be able to travel would certainly have been right at the front of the queue for getting their pricks. Not that I think it ever made a serious difference to people travelling. I think it was more likely, probably wearing a mask was probably more heavily pushed than, to be honest, I don't know. I haven't left the country since Bullspit 19, so I'm not sure of the rules, but I'm guessing you could probably, how many countries literally are keeping people out who aren't vaccinated. It might be what they tell you on the news, but the reality, who knows? Anyway, Boris Johnson's premiership blew up today in the bonfire of his vanity and lies, leaving government paralysed at a time of grave economic and other emergencies. Of course, the economic crisis probably is going to be blamed on Russia. I was in a shop the other day and was told, and I mentioned how expensive some item was, and the guy told me, oh yeah, anything with rice or grain or whatever is going to be going up in price because it's all produced in the Ukraine, and Russia are taking all the rice and grain from the Ukraine to feed their people. So we're going to have to start growing it ourselves now, or some ridiculous thing like that. Good job we got all those fields, so hey. Why aren't people buying these items directly from... What on earth is going on here? Why aren't people... Right, this doesn't work very well. I'm not sure what freak show that is. In millions of households up and down the country tonight, there are people worrying about how to afford their next food shop. In millions of others, the red bills of brown envelopes are stacking up. Yep. Millions of people still mourning the 180,000 who died from bull spit in the UK. Of course, don't believe that number for a second. Maybe that cause of death had bull spit 19 written among it, along with other things, but right, millions are walking past the shuttered up shops of Britain's high streets. Millions are worrying about the empty fuel gauge in the car and wondering how to get to work. Despite all this, of course, if they tell you to put a mask on, yeah, these people will 100% comply. Doesn't matter how miserable their life got. Listening to government, they will keep complying. They'll never say, nope, I'm not listening to you guys anymore. Yeah, this is one of those very cheerful articles designed to make everyone happy, of course. It isn't. Right, I'm going to shut this story down. I just thought it was interesting how it was all being blamed on Boris Johnson, like anything was ever going to be different. It doesn't matter who they had in power at the time. It was always going to be that way. And actually, if you look at it, the government the elite, those in power did a brilliant job of controlling people. They had done a brilliant job of getting them to speak the narrative, as it were. Despite all this, of course. And yet, all we hear, I mean, yeah. It's interesting how many of the masses seem to parrot the official lines, as it were, about, oh, it all started in China. Oh, China might have made it in a lab or something, or some ridiculous story. Just people saying the same thing, and it's the same rubbish they've heard on this sort of crap. His last Butch Cassidy stand, you'll have to dip your hands in blood to get rid of me. Did he really say that? Have barely lasted the time it took to say 4 seasons total landscaping. Yet he still clings on like an ingested tapeworm. If MPs leave him in situ, I don't even know what's going on with Boris Johnson. But this would suggest he's still hanging on. Really? When was this story written? I'm curious to know. Oh, I can't see actually. Yeah, 7th of July, so this was 10 days ago, so yeah, things have probably changed. I'm going to shut this page down because it's an absolute mess. Yeah, a lot of tonight's stories came from the Daily Mirror, and if you have a look at their search page, you can see that the stories really are not slowing down. Come on, computer, you can load up. Yeah, by the way, thanks to the 5 people who have thumbed up tonight's live stream. If you want to help the channel, it would be appreciated if you just want to click the thumbs up if you like what you're hearing. If on the other hand you think it's a load of trash, then click the thumbs down by all means. The power is in your hands. This was that story I saw. Yeah, this is the Daily Mirror. This is when you search for COVID-19. This is what comes up. It is just an endless stream of stories. one of which I was expecting protect transplant patients. All over 50s may get the booster jabs, but expert issues new variant warning. Where was the story about the baby dying? Baby dies waiting in emergency department after testing positive for COVID. This was the one, again, assuming that this page is going to load up properly. I can't guarantee it will. Right, bear with me while the page loads up. Of course, absolutely disgusting story, trying to convince people that their babies are at risk of bullspit 19. But actually, this story, I would say that's a clickbait title, because the actual story has got nothing whatsoever to do with the baby. The baby was attending Geelong University Hospital in Victoria when they died, with hospitals under pressure. Now, how much research went into this story? A 1-year-old baby thought to have tested positive for COVID-19 or died while waiting. So he was only thought to be tested positive. No actual confirmation on that anywhere. And yet it's been totally put out as a, factually correct story, even though it was only thought to have tested positive. No one's actually confirmed that, but they don't even need to anymore. But then it just goes on to about how emergency wait times have increased dramatically. There was a video I wanted to watch on this one, because let's see if it will load up. Here it is. I might have to...
Press. A 1-year-old believed to have been COVID positive died in the emergency department of the Geelong University Hospital on Monday. Managed hospitalisations in just the past...
Hang on, sorry, we're getting there. Okay, this is the start of the report.
And today, 9 News has also learned about restrictions have been reimposed, so patients here can only have 2 visitors per day for a maximum of 2 hours. Restrictions have been reimposed, so patients here can only have 2 visitors per day for a maximum of 2 hours. Anyone who comes to the hospital must also wear an N95 mask. The Royal Melbourne is concerned about the 30% jump in...
Again, this is all advice. None of this, and this is in... I don't know, but does that look like a man to you? This newsreader has a ridiculously long face, of course, and quite a big brow ridge, and yet here they are telling everyone that if you want to go into a hospital, I believe it's Victoria, must be in Australia, then you better get your N95 masks out. At least in this country, we're allowed to put a shitty old piece of toilet paper over our face, and that would do the job. We were allowed to make our homemade masks were acceptable. Ivana Trump dies aged 73. I hadn't heard that one. We'll maybe have a quick look at that. I don't know how recent this story is, though. And what is Ivana Trump? You don't actually have to look long and hard to figure out what Ivana Trump is, by the way. Oh, hang on. Let me put the volume up. Right, when was this story released out of interest? No, who knows?
Share some breaking news with you from the United States. And the former wife of the former President Donald Trump, Ivana Trump, has died. The former president has announced it
Look at that. Yeah, good one. Ivana Trump. I'm sure we can all see that disgusting rubber mask over that man's face, can't we? And the obviously fake ears. They always mess the ears up, of course. We're going to go in for a close look on that one. Yeah, I don't know if this is a new story or not. It could have happened months ago for all I know, because I just don't follow this crap. Will anyone come out and say, I thought Ivana Trump had already died? But no, I've not heard that one. Yeah, why are the ears so bad? Could it be because they're cardboard? Or just not real? Look at that, what's going on there?
Trump has died at the age of...
So, I mean, where's the earlobe? Where is this person's earlobe? That's might be a question mark. It didn't come out very well. But yeah. It seems anyone linked to President Donald Trump, Barack Obama, what's the current one? I can't even remember, to be honest. Joe Biden. They all look like this. They always look like this. I mean, go back to George Bush, for example. And is it any different in Britain, actually? Joe Biden wife. I can't think what she looks like, to be honest, so I'd be curious. Of course, Joe Biden is linked. There's all these videos of him being inappropriately approaching children and stuff. And he's been married twice. Nyla Hunter Biden. Hunter, that's the name for a woman, isn't it? And then you see the Adam's apple. Jill Biden, that's her latest one. That's his latest one, sorry. Right, I'll have a quick look at the live chat while my computer screen is trying to load up. Mudlight says you just want to scare people. That seems to be a combination, actually. Scaring people and annoying people, making them angry. Here is a image of them. Look how wide the shoulders are in this picture. What an unusual shape this person is. Is that supposed to be the pair of them? Yeah, in one of the images you can clearly see an Adam's apple as well. Just here. Don't know if you can see that on her. One thing, it looks like a scar where maybe a tracheal shave operation's taken part. But all they've done is shaved off the pointy bit. There's still quite an apparent lump there in the throat. Not like Jill Biden then. Mudlight says Ivanka looks like she is a male who has been forced to live as a female all his life. May have been. I know I've talked about The Who, and they had a song called, what was it? Bill the Head Case? I can't remember what the words are. Sorry what the title is, but the lyrics are about a boy called Bill, and he was forced to dress as a woman by his parents, and if he ever said that he wasn't, if he said he wasn't really a girl, he would be attacked. There seems to be a ridiculous amount of stories about songs about trans when you look at the popular artists. One's just gone from my head, but no, Blur, that was it. Boys that like girls they're girls that like boys. I'm very, clearly mixed up. Sorry guys if you heard a bit of crunching going on there. DJ Carrera, you suggested a channel for us to look at. Yeah, we will do that before we finish tonight. It is actually getting on for midnight, so I will be thinking about winding down soon. There was a couple of other subjects that I want. There was one other subject, which was Deborah James. I just want to see if they've announced her funeral yet. But thank you for suggesting a channel for us to look at. We'll certainly do that before we finish. Let's see. Mudlights. KG says, at least you don't have Jojo Magoo. Bidens are a family of freaks. Yeah, they certainly look like it. Is this actually them? The guy looks so different now that... Yeah, look how large that person's hands are there. Absolutely huge hands. Not sure what's going on with the baby's feet also. I don't know if you remember, we saw Boris Johnson's baby and he was dressed up in an identical sort of outfit as this weird little kid here. But Jojo Magoo, to be honest, I'm guessing that's a nickname for Biden, because I don't know who Jojo Magoo is. I might have a quick look for that before we move on to Deborah James. Okay, gotcha. That's a cartoon character. I don't think I'd ever come across that one. And yeah, he does look a bit like... Hilarious epic Jojo Magoo nuclear gaff. And I guess it was a cartoon character, was it? Yeah. Everyone seems to refer to Joe Biden as Jojo Magoo. Okay. I guess that could make sense. Right, let's see. Mudlight says, did the baby die because treatment was delayed so hospital staff could wait for the PCR test results? Who knows? Although, are not test results quite quick now? I think, don't know. Well, to be honest, I have heard, I don't know if it's still the case now, but PCR tests are not considered accurate enough to give a positive result. And if you take one and it's positive, you then have to be confirmed. So, yeah, even a positive result doesn't mean anything. So, yeah, perhaps they did do a laboratory test, which can take, I don't know, I think they say they can do them in 24 hours. But, yeah, in a life and death situation, 24 hours is absolutely crucial. You ain't got time to wait for test results like that to come back. But unfortunately, many people were refused treatment until they had done a positive test, which is insane. We just want to make sure you're not ill with this condition before we treat you. How mad. How insane. Mudlight says Biden's first wife died very young. Okay. I'm not sure of the story. I know we looked at it literally a second ago. Let's see what... she was 42 to 72, so that's 30 years old. Okay. Wonder what happened to them. I'm sure Wikipedia, everyone's favourite propaganda mouthpiece, will tell us. She died in a car crash in 1972 along with her 1-year-old daughter. Her 2 sons, Beau and Hunter, were critically injured but survived the wreck. What was her early life then? She was active in... Okay. She was related to Auburn City Councilman Robert Hunter. presumably where she got her name from then, Nyla Hunter. Right. She met Joe Biden while they were both on spring break, shortly after he moved to... Okay, to be honest, I don't know a lot about Joe Biden or his wife, so... Yeah, it's... Who knows what the story is now. Okay, we will quickly have a look at Deborah James, see if any funeral has been announced yet, because I am curious to know whether they do the horse-drawn cart. Or will we only get this story about, the minis? That's the only one we get at the moment. Okay, still no... The real Deborah James podcast team pay irreverent tribute. See, again, a few weeks ago I did a video where I said, look out for their tells, basically, their giveaways. Why would they ever need to suggest that Deborah James is the real one, you know? Are they saying that one who had the funeral procession wasn't real? And actually this is the real one? Because looking at the original Deborah James, as we know, there was 5 years ago, another, back in 2017, literally this time of year, another Deborah James died of bowel cancer. That one also happened to be a campaigner, and they were a blogger rather than podcaster, but the same sort of thing. Anyway, it was a much smaller story. They were never given a damehood like this one was. And the small amount of news would maybe lead you to believe that, perhaps it could be a real person. Personally, I doubt it. But anyway, they felt the need to put in real here, just to remind everyone, Deborah James, she's definitely real. There's no way this is all just a CGI piece of crap made up. Please believe us. She missed the train to Rachel Bland's funeral as they reminisce over their dear friend. Oh, still no funeral then. Of course, funerals are a big part of these people's lives. And actually, for hints, maybe we'll have a look to see when the other Deborah James's funeral happened to happen. Yeah, still no news. What a bunch of freaks. Absolute freaks, all the way. It's non-stop. Cancer activist Lauren Mahoon, who presented BBC's You, Me and the Big C, and their late friend broke down on a BBC tribute to Deborah James. Wow, she got her own tribute on BBC News. All the original Deborah James had to put up with was just some crappy little BBC story. Look, if we put in... This was the original Deborah James. We looked at this last week. If you didn't see it, then yeah, you can be as confused as I was, because I thought, what on earth's going on? In this occasion, it was a 37-year-old fundraiser and campaigner who died from bowel cancer. I said, what are the odds? Two people with the same name, the same occupation, basically fundraiser campaigners, and the same cause of death would exist 5 years after each other. Both happened to get covered by the BBC. Their death covered by the BBC. And I did notice that some of the number plates, I don't know if they've maybe given something away or what, but we do get to see this number plate, V22. Of course, this was back in 2017, where they suggesting that in 2022 there'll be some fun with another Deborah James. But it's such a small story. However, the funeral took place on the 17th of August 2017. Let's see if the current Deborah James's funeral takes place on the... Again, we looked at this the other week, funeral notices. There is no notice about her funeral. It's just a crappy excuse to write some rubbish about her, which comes straight from the mainstream media. CGI picture, by the way. Okay, we're going to have a look at the suggestion by DJ Carrera of the channel. Thank you, DJ, for sharing that one. KG says, I think Biden is being played by an actor. Well, I did see a video and it kind of looked like from the neck up, it was a different head on a head on a different body. Like, again, they're just superimposing, they're doing a bit of CGI work. Okay, but yeah, I agree, things are not legitimate with Joe Biden, not for a second. Okay, I'm not necessarily going to play this video. If I do, I'll play out with it tonight. Before we finish, we could maybe take a couple of minutes on this one. Oh. J Wilderness. Okay, well, thanks for sharing the link. I'll put it in the description as well, particularly if we do watch it. I'll see what other videos he's got on his channel. Oh, the guy's on Rockfin, okay. Follow us as we continue to compile evidence of our descent into absolute clown world. Like and subscribe for the latest broadcasts and check out the additional platforms listed below. Great. Yeah, he seems to be on a lot of places. I don't think this is a channel I've ever come across, J Wilderness. So I'm happy to subscribe to the guy. Let's see what some of his other videos are about. Wow, this Good Morning. Okay. Hannah Fry, An Extraordinary Series of Coincidence. Interesting. Okay, yeah, well, thank you for sharing that one. I appreciate that. Right, where are we? I'll have a quick look at the live chat. Yeah, we're very fast approaching midnight, so I am going to start winding down in a minute. Mudlight says, reminds me... Oh, hang on. Jill was the babysitter at the time. Did deep dive on it. Very suspicious. Alright. Okay, yeah. You got KG suggesting there's more to the story of the death of Jill Biden. Yeah. I guess we could watch a couple of minutes of this guy's channel. Or maybe you guys should do that yourself. I'm not sure. I don't like stealing people's videos too much. But yeah, I do appreciate the link. Thanks. Grace Kelly. Okay, I guess that's another high-profile death. Let's see. Oh, I did want to look at a comment I got quite recently. And it's a sort of comment I kind of encourage in a way. I welcome people to leave comments like this. Right, where are we? I believe it was on this one, yeah. Mr. J Nuts. This was the particular comment. Let's see. It's basically saying, hang on, I'll open it up on the page. This was a comment on last week's live stream. Let's see. Yeah, someone didn't like, or doesn't agree with my take on things, which is fine. I got no problem with this. It's just, oh, okay, it's not even showing up for some reason. Right, let's see. Right, yes, someone left a comment. Believing the earth is flat, with or without a dome, with or without an ice wall, and no proof. Believing the moon landings are fake, without proof. Believing everything is fake, with no proof. Believing COVID is fake, with zero proof. Believing everything is Photoshop CGI, with zero proof. Believing they are using wires on the ISS, with no proof. All of that is a mental illness. Listening to the news is just an easy way to gather news from a local to state to world range. This person is interesting because I don't get many people, I get the odd ones, I don't get many people disagreeing with a lot of the stuff I say, so I find this one kind of interesting. I was wondering if it was someone trying to get under my skin and wind me up a bit, but they'll never do that. I thank them kindly for leaving the comment. Thank you for your perspective. I always like to hear alternative opinions. They did leave a reply to that, but it's not showing at the moment for some reason. So not everyone is awake to the fact that, or shares the opinions that mainstream cannot be trusted. There are people out there who think that the news is just an easy way to gather information, basically. How deluded, but I know that's a very common view. That, how many people trust the news? So many of them. It's crazy. Right, I think around here is where we're going to leave it. I don't actually have a video to play out with tonight, so maybe I will look at the maybe load one up from there, one suggested by DJ Carrera. Where's our image for tonight? Hang on, where are we? Okay. So to go back to the question I asked earlier, are we still believing this? Are we still trusting government that if we start wearing face masks, then maybe we can avoid a lockdown? No. If a lockdown's coming, it's coming. You putting a mask on or not isn't going to make a blind bit of difference, unfortunately. So, I thank everyone who has taken the time to tune in tonight. As always, especially those who have taken the time to say hello in the live chat. If you want to leave a comment, that's always appreciated. Let's see. As always, I would like to thank Linda Mack for supporting me over on Patreon. If anyone wants to check me out over there is a QR code on the screen there where you can check it out. Alternatively, it is also hugely appreciated if you are able to click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and share it over on social media. The usual stuff I request of you guys. If you do that, I really do appreciate it. Thank you ever so much. But the biggest thanks of all goes to everyone who takes the time just to tune in. I thank you hugely. I may come back in the week with some other videos. We'll see how things go. Let's see. Let me just change my message. I'm sure most of the people tuning in at the moment, I probably don't really need to tell you this, but do not for one second think that by agreeing to put a mask on, you're somehow doing yourself any favour whatsoever, because you're not. All you're doing is just letting the elite know that, yeah, I'm more than willing to go along with everything you say. You tell me to lock down again, I will lock down. I was thinking tonight of covering all the, maybe having a look at some of the ways they try and convince us that climate change is real. Of course it isn't. I hope you can hear me over the audio, by the way. I made that mistake the other week, I made it too loud. Mudlight says the moon landing and BS19 are obviously fake. You would think that, but for some people to accept that, I mean, take that person who left that comment. His life must be held together by the belief that the government are right, government will not ever lie to you. However, once you kind of open your eyes to the possibility that maybe they're not interested in being truthful, then you kind of have to throw everything out, everything right down to everything they ever tell us on the mainstream news, for example, space launches, right down to the shape of the Earth. I mean, what makes you think they would ever be honest about that? And if you want an example of how propaganda is spoon-fed to people, just look at how we were all fed the idea that we live on a spherical Earth, for example. That is no longer good enough for me. I no longer accept that as proof of anything. I've gone full circle now. If mainstream media report it, then I'm going to automatically think it's a lie unless I can prove to myself otherwise. But to be honest, it's just easier to ignore it altogether. I mean, if you have that little belief in the mainstream, why would you even bother putting it on? And I don't. And that is why these live streams are my opportunity to look at mainstream media. If anyone's got subjects that you think I may be of interest to me, then yeah, leave them as a comment or email me on bobbyzones@gmail.com. I'm going to be back again soon with another video, if not before then next Sunday I'll do my live stream. Yeah, I hope if you're in a part of the country now where we got summer, don't be afraid of a bit of sunshine. I mean, cover up. Don't let yourself get burnt to a crisp. But for goodness sake, do not believe mainstream media. It is the biggest waste of time going. Alright, I will say good night to Mudlight Digging Up the Thames, KG, DJ Carrera, Phil Wright, David, JT33, Crazy Hipper Lady, and everyone else who has tuned in tonight. Yeah, thanks for taking the time, it really is appreciated. Have a great week, by the way, and was it Phil or David? Whichever one of you guys said it was Phil, I believe. You're going to spend all the next 2 days in the pub, yeah, drink plenty of water. Alright, night all. I'll be back again soon. Have a great week. Cheerio.